Hello everybody and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. I am here with another review of the U by Kotex underwear. These were on sale in, there you go, there's the tag, if it's going to focus on one of our chemists. I think I got them for about $10, I want to say. It's U by Kotex. It's a collab between U by Kotex and Thinx. And I will link my opinions on the Thinx brand. I've done 2 videos on them so far, and now I of this, honestly. And yes, so as I was saying, I'll link my opinion on the Thinx company. I've done 2 videos, one from a couple of years ago, one from, I believe, last year, as an update, because they've been sold into private equity. So, there's 8 here, and if you've been watching my What I Wore this month, I've been using these underwear kind of since I got them. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I got these for about 50% off. So they must have been around 20 from a pharmacy chain in Australia called Chemist Warehouse. And they have a range of period products there, including single-use disposables and reusable. This is just one of the reusable options there, along with Tom's Organic and Modi Body and Bonds. I think Bonds, they stock Bonds underwear as well. So, and of course this was another one that I saw when I went in. I usually never go into the period aisle, and I haven't in a significant amount of time because I don't need to. I pretty much have had everything I've needed for quite a while now to get through until probably the end of menopause. U by Kotex is predominantly a single-use disposable brand in Australia, and they release a variety of pads, tampons, and and have traditionally released that in Australia as well. I was never a U by Kotex person when I used single-use disposables. I was a Libra person. Although I preferred Libra pads because they had better wing design on them, I suppose you would say. But I did use the U by Kotex Heavy, or their super tampons, when I was using single-use disposables. They did have a tampon range that I used when I was using single-use disposables. But in general, I would say I was most of the time, Libra user. And now they've got this underwear line out. Probably, or possibly, what I would say is the positive thing for me is that period underwear and reusable products have kind of been very fringe for a long time, and it's taken a lot of pushing to get them more into the mainstream. And in general, finding period underwear in readily available areas like supermarkets and Chemist Warehouse and other pharmacies and supermarkets has been a really, really great thing, because it means that more people are seeing them, looking at them, more optionally picking them up, which means parents with teenagers are seeing that there are alternative options for their daughters, like period underwear, or their children, to get and get them started relatively early in reusable period products rather than permanently using disposables. So I got these all on sale about $10 in probably 3 different purchases. When I grabbed, because when I was in there, I'd grab 2 and then grabbed another 2, and then at a later date saw them on sale again and grabbed another 2. So for people of Australia, knowing where I got them from may be useful. These are quite comfortable to use. I found that this banding is a bit annoying and a bit frustrating. This is, again, probably a size that actually runs true to fit. So unlike Booty, which was probably runs larger than I would say, runs a bit loose, this runs true to form. So on that note was a very, very useful thing, is it? But it also, this banding can be quite annoying, whereas the Booty banding was probably twice the size and ribbed, so it gave a different texture when you're wearing it, whereas this one's quite I don't usually have banding on my normal underwear, just because I don't find banding great. I find it annoying and irritating. So particularly when you're on your period, you don't want this type of situation either. But these are generally comfortable to wear. They are very, very good as backup to menstrual cups as well, and I have worn them just straight up as period underwear. As you can see, I'm just trying to get this open. They come in 3 different sizes. They're easy to rinse and easy to clean out. However, this is the moderate flow. I want to say moderate flow, yeah, because I think the heavy has a gusset all the way to the back. Whereas this does not go the way all the way to the back. As you can see, it ends there and it ends at the front. So it doesn't go all the way to the front and it doesn't go all the way to the back. So that's depending on what you're looking for. They have 3 types of period underwear. They have the just straight up black regular, and they have the overnight, and then they have a teen range as well, and they're all in black. I don't know if they have any colour varieties. I couldn't see any colour varieties on their website, just straight up black. And I'm imagining that the overnight goes all the way to the back, because generally that's how they work their overnightiness, is they provide an extra protection at the back. I very rarely, if ever, see this extra protection provided at the front. It's super frustrating and annoying. The Modi Body overnight goes all the way to the front, but their regular don't, I think, either. It's probably one of the biggest criticisms I have in general of period underwear is, and particularly ones that the overnight wouldn't flow to the front either. And that is just infuriating and frustrating, because when you're asleep and you're moving all over the place, you end up, you have the potential to obviously bleed out the side or bleed out the front. And this is kind of not what we're aiming for. So what I would really like to see, as a general comment, is protection all the way to the front, because you do find underwear with protection all the way to the back. This is just your normal everyday regular. I don't particularly wear them as overnight underwear, because it just doesn't have the coverage that I need in my underwear. And if you're wondering what this little thing is at the top, that is actually the Thinx branding at the top. So that is the Thinx branding, and then on the inside you have this is the U by Kotex and Thinx with that bit at the end. So they're both branded on the inside, but I'm assuming that Thinx gets the outside because it's a much easier symbol to put in there. Look, as period underwear go, they're pretty easy to wash and maintain. They dry relatively rapidly. They are cotton on the outside and elastane, cotton and elastane, because we all love a bit of cotton and elastane, and that's what they're mainly made out of. The fabric is 95% cotton and 5% elastane. The gusset is 100% polyester and polyurethane, which is a lot of what cloth pads use to make themselves waterproof as well, or PUL. So you can probably see it more in this one, which is not as faded. I would say that that other pair, there we go, is probably one of my first pairs, and that's how much it's faded. So so this is the faded section, and then there we go. So this is kind of again probably been washed a couple of times since I got it. Oh, well, not a couple of times, every time I've worn it it's been washed, but I would say this is probably just the earlier one. So cold washing, don't use bleach, don't use use bleach if you need it, but don't use fabric softener, because fabric softener reduces the absorbency of anything that you have. That includes bath mats, sheets, towels, and sports clothing. So do not use fabric softener on any one of those things. And in general, I wouldn't recommend fabric softener for any of your clothes, because it degrades your clothes sooner. But specifically for things that you want to be absorbent, do not use it. Look, these underwear. Maybe we have to get through one review without choking. It's exceptionally frustrating, especially because you can't go anywhere in public when sounding like you're dying. For context, this is like 2.5 weeks into this illness, and the cough is what's keeping me awake and keeping me isolated and keeping me unable to participate in anything, because anything that happens I end up having a coughing fit. And sometimes I'll be lying down, I'm like, oh, I feel fine. I'll go do something and then end up like this. Okay, so in reality, there's nothing wrong with these as period underwear. I would possibly like to see them tested, because Thinx obviously can't really be trusted, but they've been sold to a corporation, so are no longer really privately owned, and don't really necessarily suffer the toxic work environment that was happening when it was a startup. But I'll link both of those videos in this video somewhere, maybe down below if I remember. But that's my review. They're fine. I don't like that they all come in black. I'm very suspicious of the Thinx brand due to their previous behaviour. And You by Kotex is really focused on single-use disposables. I do like that they've come into a reusable space, whether that's because they're chasing more market share. It actually also provides, by sheer proximity to being a brand already established in supermarkets and pharmacies, that they can get their reusable products into pharmacies and chains far quicker than small brands. They also have a manufacturing capacity that's not there with, you know, your little mum and pop shop around the corner, or your little sewer that's sewing from home. I personally would much rather support your at-home person, and if you've seen my cloth pad stash, you'd understand that that's exactly how I've built up my stash, and that's exactly how I prefer to maintain my stash. But I would also like the single-use disposable market to basically function for those who need it, rather than for those who are too lazy to do anything else. There are certainly people who need single-use disposables due to a variety of issues. But I think if you are able to use reusable products, you should be. But a lot of that is availability and access. And so the availability and access provided by you by Kotex, particularly around Australia, is a valuable asset. And it actually allows these types of products to be sold in supermarkets, whereas you'd probably find somebody who is selling on a smaller scale, maybe being able to be sold online or in local shops. And that really only happens in areas that are going to be willing to support that type of business, which is obviously not going to be everywhere. I have seen cloth pads being sold in alternative areas, which is great, by local suppliers, which is also great, which is what I'd love to support. However, nationally, you by Kotex has a far greater hope of getting more people to use single-use reusables, even though they're a single-use disposable company. So, will I still use them? Yes. Will I probably buy more? Probably not. I think 8 is a great number. It gets me through half my period if I'm only using cloth pads. I mean, if I'm only using the underwear, and I have been using them recently at home, because I can just kind of wear a dress and change my underwear for a couple of hours. But outside of that, they're fine. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your morning, afternoon, or evening, depending, of course, where you are in the day. And I'll catch up with you on the next video. Bye, everyone.